it's Casey, and today we're going to talk about my entire owned TBR. So I've been collecting books at a pretty rapid pace, so I wanted to go ahead and take this nice end of year opportunity to check back in and see how many books I own that I actually haven't read yet. I just kind of want to check in and see if I'm purchasing and receiving books at a faster rate than I'm reading them, or if I'm managing to kind of keep up, and how many of these shelves and the one over there I haven't actually managed to read yet. So I want to start off and say this is in no way a shaming kind of thing. It's totally fine to own a bunch of books that you haven't read. I try to keep up with my owned TBR on a Goodreads shelf, so I think it's going to be somewhere around 70 books. I'm not sure though. I'll keep a tally on the screen so you guys know the final count when I'm done. I'm not going to give a synopsis of any of these books because that would take entirely too long, so we're just going to go shelf by shelf, kind of down the row, and I'm going to pull out and show you all of the books that I own but I've yet to read. My shelves are kind of organized by genre, so I guess I can kind of say what genre they're in. So the first shelf is an adult fantasy shelf. So starting off, we have Priory the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, although I'm making good progress on that one. The second shelf is my sci-fi shelf. 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. Artemis by Andy Weir. The Long Earth by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. I have this giant bind-up of the Star Wars trilogy, which is a novelization of the movies by George Lucas. Sleeping Giants by Sylvia Neuville. That's it for sci-fi, so we get down to graphic novels and comics. The Wicked and the Divine Volumes 3, 4, and 5 by Gillian McKelvey and Wilson Cowles. Sex Criminals Volume 2 by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. My Hero Academia Volume 2 by Kohei Hirikoshi. Ouran High School Host Club Volume 2 and Volume 3 by Bisco Hattori. Persepolis Volume 2 by Marjane Satrapi. And Monsters Book 1 by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. Next shelf, we've got more adult fantasy. So we've got A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin, The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and The Last Argument of Kings, all by Joe Abercrombie. This shelf is YA fantasy, but I've actually read all of it, which is astounding. So next we have this one down here. I'm gonna stop pointing because you can't see him anymore. Ship of Magic, The Mad Ship, and Ship of Destiny, all by Robin Hobb. The Lies of Locke Lamora, Red Seas Under Red Skies, and The Republic of Thieves, all by Scott Lynch. Kingdom of Copper, and Empire of Gold, both by S.A. Chakraborty. My next two shelves are kind of like overflow fantasy, so it's a mix of like middle grade, YA, adult. It's just kind of the overflow that didn't look pretty on these shelves. A Winter's Promise by Christelle DeBeau. Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. The Legend of Drizzt books 2 and 3. I have read book 1 of this bind-up, all by R.A. Salvatore. Lord Foul's Bane. The Ill-Earth War, and The Power That Preserves, all by Stephen R. Donaldson. Dreams of Gods and Monsters and Days of Blood and Starlight, both by Laini Taylor. Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares, both by Laini Taylor. All 7 books in the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. H.P. Lovecraft, Tales of Great Horror. It's a bind-up of a bunch of short stories. And Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Okay, so now we get down into more of my contemporaries. The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. The Boy Detective Fails by Joe Menno. Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Final Girls by Riley Sagar. The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zefon. The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. The Yiddish Policeman's Union by Michael Caban. The House of the Spirits by Isabella Allende. A Thousand Splendid Suns by Kalia Husseini. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Always and Forever Laura Jean by Jenny Han. Okay, now we get into my nonfiction. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Solnit. Buddha Mind, Buddha Body by Thich Nhat Hanh. The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. Charlatan by Pope Brock. Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. The Disappearing Spoon by Sam Keane. Other Minds by Peter Godfrey Smith. And that's it for nonfiction, so the last shelf I have way over there is my classics, poetry collections, and short story collections. Disconnected by a variety of authors. Obit by Victoria Chang. The Rose That Grew from Concrete by Tupac. The Poetry of Robert Frost. The Iliad by Homer. This Is Water by David Foster Wallace. Dire Dwelle by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. The Complete Sherlock Holmes Volumes 1 and 2 by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And Dracula by Bram Stoker. And that's it! So unless I'm completely glancing over something, that should be my entire owned TBR. So to be honest, there weren't quite as many as I thought they were going to be. Looking at my shelves towards the middle of the year, I know that, especially these ones right here, had a ton of unread ones, but as I was going through it, I actually was like, no, I've read a lot of these now. So that's good. That being said, all of this progress is probably going to get undone after Christmas because I'm sure I'm going to get some new books then, which I am very much looking forward to. So my total number of unread books will be somewhere, I'm not sure yet. So the total number I hope is going to be about what I was thinking it was, but I've managed to keep it pretty stable throughout the year actually, which means I'm reading just about as much as I'm buying, which I think is probably good. But I think that's all I've got for you guys today. If you want to keep up with what I'm reading, I have a link to my Goodreads in the description down below, but other than that, I'll see you guys next time.